Yo, stop scrolling right now. You won't believe this Stanley Druckenmiller just dumped every single share of Nvidia he owned, and it's sending shockwaves through Wall Street. I'm talking about a billionaire, one of the smartest investors alive, walking away from the stock that's been breaking records non-stop. You're probably thinking, wait, Nvidia's crushing it. The price keeps going up. Why would he sell? That's exactly the question everyone's asking right now. Billionaire alert, folks. When a guy like Druckenmiller moves, it ain't random. There's strategy behind every single dollar he pulls out. He's not just selling because he wants cash. There's a deeper reason, a play that only someone at his level can even spot. Think about it. Most investors chase hype, buy high, panic low. Billionaires, they see the trap before it snaps shut. And this isn't some small-time stock. Nvidia is an AI giant, gaming powerhouse, and the heartbeat of data centers worldwide. Yet, even with all that power, Druckenmiller made the call to exit. That should make you sit up and pay attention. Imagine being so ahead of the game that you can see the storm brewing while everyone else is still celebrating. And the craziest part, he's probably not worried about missing out on gains. He's worried about what comes next, the hidden risks most people can't see. This move screams insider-level thinking, patterns, and signals that only elite investors catch. If you're holding Nvidia or any hot tech stock, this is the kind of alert you can't afford to ignore. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is the tech market going sideways? Maybe, but there's more than just market swings at play here. There's tension, volatility, whispers of inflation, interest rate moves, basically a perfect storm for smart money to rethink its positions. And Druckenmiller saw it coming before the rest of the world even noticed a blip. That's why this sell-off is so telling. You've got to understand, billionaires don't just sell because the price is high. They sell because the future looks messy. And that's the kicker. Everyone's obsessed with gains, but the smartest move sometimes is knowing when to step back. This is pure FOMO fuel, my friend. If he's moving, the ripple effect on retail investors is going to be insane. So hang tight, because what triggered this decision is even more shocking than the sale itself. Up next, we break down the market chaos and secret signals that pushed Stanley Druckenmiller to make this bold, billion-dollar exit hand. You won't want to miss it. Yo, here's the tea. The stock market ain't what it used to be. Volatility's off the charts. Tech stocks jumping around like crazy. And the smart money is making moves you won't see coming. Nvidia's on a meteoric rise, breaking record after record. But that's exactly why some of the pros are thinking about cashing out. You see, it's easy to get caught up in hype, but billionaires like Druckenmiller, they're watching the signals most of us miss. Interest rates are creeping up, whispers about inflation are everywhere, and the Fed's moves are keeping traders on edge. It's like a pressure cooker. Everyone's anxious, the crowd's chasing gains, and one wrong news flash can trigger chaos. And Druckenmiller, he spotted a red flag before the headlines even dropped, giving him the edge to act fast. Most people panic when markets wobble. They sell too late or buy too early. But billionaires, they prepare while the masses freak out. Even with Nvidia soaring, the macro forces create a perfect storm. It's not just about the company, it's about timing, strategy, and risk management. You've got to understand, the market's mood swings are violent right now. One day it's euphoria, the next it's panic selling, and only the sharpest minds navigate it smoothly. Tech rotations are insane, to monies shifting from one hot stock to the next, sometimes overnight, leaving retail investors scrambling. And here's the kicker. Druckenmiller's exit wasn't impulsive. He's reading the pattern of rotations, the subtle cracks in momentum that signal a bigger shift. Imagine seeing the next big shakeup before everyone else. That's what makes billionaires' moves so terrifyingly precise. Retail investors chasing gains. They're blind to the early signs. Someone like Druckenmiller can be like a cheat code for understanding risk. The market chaos isn't random, it's layered with whispers, hints, and subtle shifts that only the elite decode. If you're holding hot tech stocks, ignoring these macro signals is like walking blind into a hurricane. And the craziest part, this is just the surface. The market's madness is real. But wait, there's something deeper going on inside Nvidia itself that makes this move even more shocking. Hold tight, because up next, we're re-diving into the inner workings of Nvidia and the hidden signals that triggered one of the boldest billionaire exits in recent history. All right, buckle up. Nvidia isn't just a chip maker, it's a beast. But even beasts have cracks, and trust me, you don't want to blink on this one. Everybody's hyped about Nvidia dominating AI, gaming, and data centers, but there's more going on behind the scenes than anyone's talking about. Stanley Druckenmiller isn't just eyeballing hype. He's noticing subtle signals that most investors totally miss. Margins slipping just a touch. Valuations spiking faster than the news can report it. Insider moves whispering danger. These are the breadcrumbs the smart money follows. You might be thinking, it's all good, Nvidia's a monster. But even monsters have weak spots. And that's exactly what Druckenmiller saw pattern in the numbers that screams caution, while the crowd keeps cheering. Imagine being a billionaire and seeing everyone else, blindfolded, charging full speed into a frenzy you can clearly predict. Some folks are so caught up in the AI hype that they're ignoring the early warnings of a potential bubble forming right under their noses. Tech valuations are stretching sky high, and history shows extreme hype can pop faster than you think. Even the juiciest growth story can have hidden risks, and only those with insider-level insight spot the cracks before the explosion. Druckenmiller's move wasn't about panic, it was precision, a calculated step that separates amateurs from legends. This isn't just about numbers either. It's about reading the subtle signs, investor rotations, unusual stock flows, and whispers in corporate circles. The signals are tiny but powerful, and missing them could mean getting caught at the peak while the smart money exits. Retail investors are blinded by the glitz of AI and gamified stock hype, while billionaires quietly reposition their bets. That SY watching Druckenmiller's playbook is like getting the cheat codes to the markets seeing what others can. And that's just part of the story. Wait till we hit the billionaire psychology behind this move. The mindset that turns warnings into multi-billion-dollar decisions. Hold tight, because the next layer reveals exactly how elite investors think differently and why their timing can crush retail expectations every single time. Here's where it gets wild. These guys play chess while we're out here playing checkers. And if you're not paying attention, you're about to get smoked. Billionaires like Druckenmiller don't just buy and hold. Every move is calculated, from risk management to portfolio rotation to locking in preemptive profits. It's easy to chase hype when everyone's screaming about gains, but that's exactly the trap ordinary investors fall into. Meanwhile, the smart money is quietly exiting, setting up positions that only the elite understand, and most people don't even notice until it's too late. FOMO is real out here. Retail investors see Nvidia flying, AI hype exploding, and they pile in like there's no tomorrow. But billionaires, they're watching the waves while staying dry, seeing the storm forming before it hits the masses. Druckenmiller's move isn't random, it's a signal that he's thinking 2, 3, even 5 steps ahead of the crowd. You might be chasing the shiny numbers, but he's analyzing patterns, market rotations, and subtle signals that scream caution. This is where mindset beats luck every single time. The ordinary investor reacts, the billionaire predicts. And the craziest part, he's already planning his next play, a move that will make this Nvidia exit look like just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine having the insight to move before everyone else, and the confidence to do it while the crowd is still blindfolded. That's why watching these moves can feel like getting insider knowledge. You see the signals, understand the risk, and act before panic hits. Most people are chasing gains and losing sight of the bigger picture. Druckenmiller is doing the opposite, and that's why he's on a whole other level. The FOMO trap is everywhere. People pile in too late, buy high, and sell low, while the elite rotate strategically behind the scenes. If you don't get this memo, you risk being left holding the bag, while the billionaires walk away with the profits. And this is just scratching the surface. Next up, we break down the tech trend everyone's losing their minds over, the one driving Nvidia and making Wall Street sweat. Hold tight, because the next layer dives deep into the hype, the numbers, and the psychology that could change how you see the market forever. AI is blowing up. Stocks like Nvidia are insane right now. And if you're not paying attention, you're about to get left in the dust. Everyone's hyped about AI, and retail investors are pouring in like there's no tomorrow. But billionaires see it through a different lens. Druckenmiller isn't just chasing the hype. He's analyzing real growth versus the frenzy, spotting what's sustainable and what's straight up overblown. Nvidia's valuation is through the roof, and you've got to ask yourself, is this a genius call or a bubble waiting to pop? The thing is, the crowd doesn't care about fundamentals. They're chasing headlines, trends, and fear of missing out. Meanwhile, the elite are positioning for what comes next, rotating their money quietly, while everyone else is distracted by the hype. This isn't just speculation. There's data, subtle signals, and patterns that suggest the heat might be too much, too fast. Imagine being able to see the bubble forming while everyone else is screaming buy, buy, buy. That's the kind of edge Druckenmiller has. Retail investors are dancing on the edge, and one misstep in these overvalued tech stocks could wipe out gains fast. And the craziest part, this isn't just about Nvidia, it's about the entire AI ecosystem, the winners, the losers, and where the next big money is heading. If you're late to this AI party, you're buying at the top, and that's a lesson the pros learned long ago. Billionaires don't get greedy in the hype, they rotate, hedge, and secure profits, while most people are blinded by the shiny stuff. Druckenmiller S. Exit, ISNT, a panic move it, S. A calculated step to avoid getting trapped in the frenzy everyone else is chasing. You've got to understand the psychology here. Hype inflates value, but elite investors see beyond it, knowing when to pull back before the crowd panics. And that's why this moment is so critical for you to watch, because it's a lesson in timing, strategy, and reading the market before it bites. Finally, we're about to reveal the move that shocked Wall Street, the play that even analysts didn't see coming, and why it matters for you. Hold tight, because this next part dives deep into the billionaire maneuver that's rewriting the rules of the AI game and could change how you see investing forever. Boom. Here's the move that left analysts speechless. Druckenmiller just pulled a classic billionaire maneuver, and it's got the whole street talking. Nvidia, on a whim, every detail was calculated, from timing to strategy to the psychology of the market. This isn't just about cashing out. It's about understanding when the hype peaks and the risk outweighs the reward. Druckenmiller read the signals, spotted subtle cracks in momentum, and made a move most of us could never even see coming. Retail investors were still cheering the highs, chasing the AI wave, while he quietly rotated his portfolio for maximum advantage. That's the genius of a billionaire, acting ahead of the curve, while everyone else is glued to the headlines. And there's a lesson here for you: timing is everything. Risk management isn't optional. It's survival in this game. Following smart money isn't about copying blindly. It's about seeing patterns, understanding signals, and acting before panic sets in. Imagine being able to avoid the traps while others get burned chasing the next big tech frenzy. Druckenmiller's exit shows you exactly how elite investors protect gains and position for what comes next. But the story doesn't end here. The move hints at potential tech shifts, emerging opportunities, and the next plays that could rock the market. This is your wake-up call. Miss this, and you might regret it big time, while the smart money continues quietly moving. Even if you've been trading for years, watching moves like this teaches more about psychology, timing, and strategy than any headline ever could. Billionaires see the world differently. They're playing a long game, and every decision has layers of foresight most can't imagine. If you pay attention to this, you learn how to read hype versus reality, spot overvalued tech, and protect yourself in wild markets. So take notes, stay alert, and remember, the market rewards patience, insight, and courage, not blind excitement. And that wraps it up. Druckenmiller's move, the FOMO it triggered, and the lessons for anyone looking to play smarter, act faster, and see the market the way billionaires do.